MAREDUDD Thomas!
Sometimes you just feel tired, feel weak.
Round one of this contest between, in the black shorts from Ely in Cardiff, MAREDUDD Thomas, and in the red shorts from Sofia in Bulgaria, PETAR Alexandrov. Thomas 22 years old, Alexandrov 21. Straight away we can see that Thomas has a big height advantage. He's looking in much better shape than Alexandrov, who looks like he's carrying perhaps a little bit of weight around the midsection. This is Thomas's 5th professional contest. Trains with Guy Lockett. There's a good right hand on the inside by MAREDUDD Thomas. Good aggressive start by Thomas, Oliver.
Yeah, he's looking to use his size advantage. I mean, like you mentioned, then he's clearly in better shape, and the size difference is quite obvious to see as well. For those that may know, Alexandrov does have a bit of history behind him, in the fact that towards the back end of last year, he suffered a horrific knockout defeat to Harlem Eubank. I think it won a lot of knockout of the year awards. Actually, it was a brutal shot. So Thomas, he's got 2 stoppages in 4 wins, and I mean, I think he'll feel his way into the fight, and no doubt he feels he'll be able to get Alexandrov out of the ring as well. Like I said, he's clearly the better boxer. It's just a case of probably if and not when it happens. Great shot there.
Yeah, MAREDUDD Thomas has stopped his last 2 opponents, and he's looking very good here. A right hand and an uppercut, and he's really putting the pressure on Alexandrov now. This is a really impressive start by the Cardiff boxer. Oh, lovely right hand. Alexandrov felt the power there. This is good boxing by MAREDUDD Thomas. He's not being careless, despite the fact that his opponent is not really doing very much. The referee for this contest, Mr. Chris Jones from Swansea. Oh, nice uppercut by Thomas. Well, Oliver, it was all one-way traffic in that first round, and I think Alexandrov's up against it here.
I couldn't agree more, really. I don't see what he can do or change that will cause Thomas remotely any problems whatsoever. Thomas is the bigger puncher, the better fighter, he has more skills, and like I said, he landed a number of clean shots there, and they didn't look to faze Alexandrov too much, but you can't take that many clean shots throughout the fight, particularly with someone with the skill set of MAREDUDD Thomas. So it was a good enough opening round from the home fighter, and he'll only look to build on that in rounds 2 and maybe 3 if it goes that far in the fight.
And as you mentioned there, Oliver, he was very badly stopped by Harlem Eubank in November 2018, and I wonder if that's in the back of his mind as well.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, look, every boxer can deal with getting stopped, but in that manner, it's difficult to come around. And like I said, we mentioned it before about these pay packets for these journeymen. And look, he's throwing his hands there, he's letting them go, so he might not be as phased as we may think, but when he lets them go, he's open to those counter shots. And like I said, we saw in the first round he was clipped a number of times. I can't see the second round being any different, to be honest.
Well, Alexandrov has been slightly more aggressive in this round 2, even though he's not really landing anything. He's not phasing Thomas at all. Gary Lockett urging his man forward. It's a good right hands by Thomas, and the referee Chris Jones gives the Bulgarian fighter a bit of a ticking off there for punching on the break. This is Alexandrov's 8th contest, 3 victories, 5 defeats. Those good shots by Thomas, and forces Alexandrov back. Well, you've got to give credit to the Bulgarian. At least he's having a go this round.
He's not deterred, is he? I mean, he's been tagged a few times, but he's still letting his shots go. And when he's throwing him, he's throwing him aggressively. He's really winging the shots in. He's not had much success, to be honest. But look, he's not there. We saw Simas Volosinas in the previous fight, who barely threw a shot in the 4 rounds. I think Alexandrov threw more in the first 10 seconds than Volosinas did in the whole fight. So, yeah, he's looking to throw his shots, but he's by no means causing any problems and looking to win the round. And that shot rocked Alexandrov back. Although to his credit, he doesn't seem phased, he doesn't seem particularly hurt by the shots, but his head does snap back quite dramatically when he gets caught by Meredith's power punches. Just rushing his work a little bit now, Thomas. I think he's seen that he can hit him and land relatively clean when he wants to, but he's just rushing that work a bit more, and I think that'll all come as he gets more fights and more experience under him. But what I'd like to see is, look, just take a step back, not wait for the perfect shot, but just take your time. Don't rush and smother your own work, because you don't get the full extension and the full power when you're up rushing or trying to wing in shots or smothering your own work and giving yourself the right and correct distance.
Guy Lockett, Meredith Thomas screaming at him from ringside to let his hands go. So it's quite clear what Gary expects from his man. Something that quite a few people have told me actually about Meredith Thomas is that if anything, he's too nice. He's a really nice guy, and perhaps I think maybe Gary's trying to bring out the warrior in him, perhaps.
Well, I mean, it's another clear round for him there, but we saw just towards the end of that round then that Gary Lockett was not happy at all, and you can see in the corner now he's not happy. I think it was when Thomas winged in just a straight right, and Alexandrov was long gone, and I think it was that telegraphed. He needs to be more clever in that. Look, these journeymen, they know how to survive. They can read shots to an extent, so just use your combinations. Look, he's telling him there, use your jab, use the jab, use the jab. Thomas really hasn't used that. He's looking, just for the big power shots, and that all came from when he landed in the first round, showing that he can hit him, and now he started to smother his own work and teeing everything up. So hopefully he learns in this next round and listens to what his corner is saying, because he's got a great corner there, and he should listen and take on their knowledge and expertise.
Yeah, as well as Gary Lockett in the corner, he's got Meredith Thomas has got former world champion Gavin Rees giving him advice. Good jab to start the round from Meredith Thomas. That's better straight away from Meredith Thomas. We can see the improvements in the start of this round. Meredith was caught by a short right hand there. Doesn't want to get careless and get caught by anything silly. I think sometimes fighters can try too hard to get the knockout, and if they just work behind the jab, quite often just the knockout sort of flows, the knockout follows good build up to it. This is Alexandrov's 8th fight, turned pro in 2015. Once again, you can see that Thomas getting a little bit too close, closing down his own work. Yeah, Thomas has got a really good jab when he uses it, and probably he'd be well advised just to try and throw it a little bit more often.
We've just seen there then, and that was exactly the way he started the start of the round as well. That when he uses the jab, it's quite stiff, and he's landed 2 clean right hands straight off that. But then in between the two where he's used the jab, he's neglected it, and he's not really landed clean. So look, we saw from here that Gary Lockett is willing him to use that jab and start throwing different shots. But he's only listened to it twice, and when he has listened to it, he's had success. So that's a learning curve for him at the moment. He's clearly winning the fight. It's a slip there in the corner. No clean shot was landed. But yeah, but going back to it, I want to see him use that just a good right hand there. But when he does land that clean right hand, he does cause Alexandrov problems. He doesn't like it, so I want to see him use that jab more, and then he can start landing the right hand as well.
And as I was saying there earlier about Meredith perhaps being too nice for his own good, that was a possible example there. His opponent slipped, and rather than jumping on him, Meredith sort of held back and did the gentlemanly thing. I mean, sometimes in professional boxing, you've got to leave that type of thing for outside the ring. Gary Lockett once again screaming at Meredith. I mean, Meredith, this is the sort of range he should be firing the jab out, and just as he does that, he lands a couple of jabs. Another round for Meredith Thomas, Oliver?
Quite clearly, but it's somewhat underwhelming, isn't it? Is he struggling with the opponent? I'm not too sure. Gary Lockett's not happy. He's not happy at all, and we can see it from there. And he's wanting him to target that body. And you mentioned at the start, he is looking a bit fleshy around that body. When that sometimes means he may not have the fitness there, and and he's not in that good a shape. So there's only so many body shots you can get. Have we seen him land one body shot in the round? In the fight? Probably not at the moment. So. Look, he needs to do something different. I don't. Is he struggling with the style? Quite possibly, but whilst he's winning the fight, it's not been one of his best displays at the moment. That's for sure.
I think as well, looking at Gary Lockett in the corner, he's urging Meredith to try and cut off the ring as well, because the fight has sort of followed a pattern where Meredith follows Alexandrov around the ring, and Alexandrov just sort of stays on his bike, throws a few speculative shots, and then just moves away, and Meredith should be moving left and right to try and cut the ring off, I think. So we're into the 4th and final round. Meredith Thomas in the black shorts from Cardiff, PETAR Alexandrov in the red shorts from Bulgaria. Meredith Thomas clearly winning the fight, but perhaps making it a little bit more difficult for himself than he has to. Alexandrov's clearly blowing hard now. He's feeling the pace, even though it's only a 4-rounder. That was a good shot by Meredith Thomas, and the spray is sent flying from Alexandrov's head. And the blood has come splattering down to our commentary position near ringside. Thomas needs to keep that type of pressure on. And now he's got him on the ropes. He needs to try and keep him there and work him over. I think this is the time when he's in this sort of position, is when Thomas should be going to the body, switching to the hooks in particular. That's good, that's a good body shot. Gary Lockett is screaming at his man to work, which has pretty much been the pattern of the fight. Fourth and final round. Alexandrov throws a wild right hand, and Meredith lands a good right hand of his own, and that's good work from Thomas. Needs to keep the pressure on. Alexandrov trying to move on the outside of the ring, trying to get away from the long shots of Thomas. That shot just sailed over his head, but that was a good jab. Nice left hand, and Alexandrov felt that. He's grabbing hold tight. A win for Meredith Thomas, but plenty to work on, I think, Oliver.
Yeah, a lot to work on, but round 4 was his best round by a long way, and I think it's finally the time where he started to listen to his corner, and he was the one putting the pressure on, which is what, and I mean, Alexandrov couldn't cope. He was on the back foot, basically running away. I mean, he landed clean a number of times, and he just couldn't sustain that flurry. But look, it's a comfortable win. It's a decent way to start the year, but there's a lot to work on for
With me now is victorious Meredith Thomas. Meredith, how do you assess that performance?
He was a negative fighter, so it was a bit hard, and the last 2 fights I've had, they've come for it, so it was a bit easier when I catch him. They went down straight away. But with this boy, he was on his back foot a lot, so most of my punches were landing half-hearted, really. But yeah, it's just...
Your trainer Gary Lockett was quite emotional, if that's the way to describe it, during the round, screaming at you. What type of things was he telling you in between the rounds?
Yeah, I can even throughout the round screaming. I think it's just because I know I could do better than that, but it was just one of them nights. In the back then I just didn't feel right. I felt sluggish, felt a bit stiff really, but got a job done anyway. But it weren't my best performance, no way. So.
Did you just feel yourself that something wasn't quite clicking right tonight?
Yeah, I just felt a bit just out of time and everything, just my punches. I think it was just more of a mental thing in the back in the changing rooms. They just weren't right, but got to win anyway, so I've rocked him a few times, so I done okay, but not what I can do normally.
So you feel you're going to improve on that performance?
100%. I feel like my last 2 fights were better than that, so that was a bit backwards, but it is what it is. I feel like I'm fighting good opponents, so I'm not fighting journeymen. My last 3 fights have all been unbeaten boys, so it's been 50-50 fights, so I sure was improving now, and just get ready for the match, the first fight now on the MTK show. So.
Well, congratulations Meredith, and good luck for the future, mate.